Brazil's recent moves to deepen defense partnerships with Turkey and India mark one of the most important strategic shifts in its military trajectory in years. After a long era of relying primarily on Western systems and suppliers, Brazil is now exploring a more diversified, autonomous, and technologically flexible model, one that aligns the country with other rising middle powers rather than with a narrow circle of traditional defense providers. This change is not accidental. It reflects Brazil's desire to secure its long-term defense needs, strengthen its domestic industry, and avoid vulnerabilities that come from depending on a single geopolitical axis. For viewers across Brazil who are following the nation's military evolution, this moment represents a fundamental reorientation worth examining in detail. And if you wish to follow Brazil's strategic rise through a structured analytical lens, consider subscribing to support the channel. Brazil's pursuit of new defense partnerships is rooted in shifts in the global and regional security environment. The world is entering a period of technological competition, supply chain fragmentation, and strategic rivalry among major powers. In such a context, countries that rely heavily on a single supplier for defense equipment face higher long-term risks, including potential sanctions, export controls, or unpredictable political conditions. Brazil is no stranger to these vulnerabilities. Several past procurement programs suffered delays or limitations because critical components were subject to foreign approval. As a result, expanding partnerships with Turkey and India is not simply about buying equipment. It is about ensuring continuity, sovereignty, and industrial independence. This is a strategic choice, aligned with the behavior of emerging powers that seek to balance between multiple centers of influence. The partnership with Turkey is one of the most intriguing developments. Turkey, in the past 2 decades, has transformed itself into one of the world's most dynamic defense manufacturers, developing advanced unmanned aerial vehicles, precision munitions, electronic systems, and ground platforms that are now exported globally. Brazil's new 5-year cooperation agreement with Turkiye opens the door to collaboration in unmanned systems, artillery technologies, missile guidance, avionics, and battlefield communication. For Brazil, access to Turkish unmanned aerial vehicle technology is particularly promising as the country seeks to strengthen surveillance and strike capabilities over vast territories, including the Amazon region and offshore zones. Turkiye's willingness to transfer technology and co-develop systems aligns perfectly with Brazil's long-standing priority of avoiding dependency and empowering local industry. Beyond unmanned aerial vehicles, cooperation with Turkey could influence Brazil's artillery and missile development. Avibras, the maker of the Astro's 2020 system, is already one of the most respected artillery producers in the region, but collaboration with Turkish firms could bring significant improvements in sensors, fire control systems, and propulsion technologies. The synergy between 2 nations that prioritize defense independence makes this cooperation structurally stable. Each brings industrial value, and both benefit from diversified markets. India, meanwhile, offers Brazil a different but equally important set of opportunities. India has emerged as a major player in surface-to-air missile systems, electronic warfare, and aerospace technologies. One of India's proposals to Brazil involves the Akash medium-range air defense system, which could fill one of the most significant gaps in Brazil's current force structure. While the country has strong radar networks and command and control systems, its missile layer for medium-range defense remains limited. A system like Akash, particularly if co-produced or adapted, would significantly improve Brazil's ability to protect critical infrastructure, military bases, and population centers. The benefit of partnering with India extends far beyond a single system. India is an experienced producer of composite materials, radars, propulsion systems, and aerospace components, technologies that Brazil could incorporate into programs such as the Tamandaré-class frigates, future unmanned aircraft, or even upgrades to the KC-390 fleet. Moreover, India's geopolitical position as a member of BRICS and a nation that pursues defense autonomy makes it a natural partner for Brazil. Brazil's decision to develop ties with India therefore reflects not only tactical needs, but a broader strategic alignment among major emerging economies. For Brazil's domestic defense industry, these partnerships represent a multiplier effect. Embraer stands to gain access to new payloads, mission systems, and unmanned technologies that could be integrated into surveillance aircraft or future unmanned aerial vehicles. Avibras could enhance the Astros system and explore joint development of precision-guided munitions. AEL Sistemas and Ares could integrate advanced electronics from Turkish and Indian firms, reducing reliance on expensive Western imports. The result is a strengthened, more competitive Brazilian defense ecosystem that can serve both national needs and international markets. What distinguishes this new phase is that Brazil is not merely importing technology. It is positioning itself to co-develop, adapt, and eventually export systems born out of these partnerships. This reinforces Brazil's status as the industrial leader of South America, capable of supporting regional security through indigenous production rather than foreign dependence. It also aligns with Brazil's ambition to play a larger role in global defense supply chains. At the regional level, the impact could be significant. Enhanced unmanned aerial vehicle capabilities, improved artillery systems, and stronger air defense would give Brazil unmatched deterrent power in South America. While Argentina, Chile, and Colombia are all attempting to modernize their militaries, none possesses the industrial depth or strategic autonomy that Brazil is now cultivating. If the cooperation with Turkiye and India is managed effectively, Brazil could consolidate a three-pronged force structure for the next decade: advanced air power with Gripen-E, modernize naval capabilities with the Tamandaré class, and reinforce land power with upgraded Astros, 2020 systems, and reconnaissance vehicles. These developments would establish Brazil as the default regional security provider, a position compatible with its economic and geographic scale. Public opinion in Brazil, however, introduces a layer of complexity. While many citizens express pride in domestic defense achievements and welcome international partnerships that bring technology and jobs, there is also continued concern about the political role of the armed forces. Recent national debates have made the public more alert to issues of military influence and civilian oversight. For international defense cooperation to be accepted broadly, the government must ensure transparency, clear institutional controls, and a firm separation between military professionalism and political authority. Brazilians want a strong military, but they also want strong democratic institutions. Any long-term defense strategy must satisfy both expectations. Looking toward 2035, the potential benefits are striking. Brazil could integrate technologies from Turkiye and India into a uniquely Brazilian force structure, one that blends autonomy, innovation, and regional leadership. The country could export unmanned aerial vehicles, missile systems, or integrated electronics co-developed with these partners. Its defense industry could become a hub for South America, supplying technology to neighbors while strengthening its own capabilities. Most importantly, Brazil could anchor a new model of cooperation among emerging powers, one that expands technological choices and reduces vulnerability to geopolitical pressure. Brazil's turn toward Turkey and India is not a temporary adjustment. It is a strategic pivot that reflects the country's ambition to shape its own future in an uncertain world. By diversifying suppliers, investing in domestic industry, and pursuing co-development rather than dependency, Brazil is laying the groundwork for a more resilient and capable military posture. If these partnerships continue to deepen, Brazil's rise as a technologically advanced and strategically autonomous power in South America becomes not just possible, but increasingly likely. Thank you for watching, and if you want to follow Brazil's evolving role in global defense networks, consider subscribing to support the channel.